I'm really excited about this documentary project. It's called The Environment, A True Story. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the past history of the Earth and compare it with the alarmist claims. We're going to look at the past 12,000 years. We're going to look at the past 5 million years. We're going to look at the past 500 million years. And when we do that, three things are going to become obvious right away. First, global temperature and carbon dioxide just aren't related to one another. CO2 is not what Mark Morano calls the control knob on the Earth thermostat. The second thing is that the Earth's climate has repeatedly changed dramatically. What's going on right now is by no means unprecedented. And the third thing is, of course, that man did not cause any of these changes, at least until the last 50 years. So it's very bad science to claim that the latest warming trend that's been going on since the end of the Little Ice Age in the Victorian period in the 19th century, that it's been going on steadily for more than 100 years. But 50 years ago, nature handed us the baton and said, okay, no more natural causes. Now you take over. Effect constant, cause changed. That is not science. The question, how do the alarmists deal with this, is an excellent one. What does Al Gore say about all this evidence? Or even Prince Charles, who on most things I respect a good deal more than I respect Al Gore. Well, the answer is very simple. They do not talk about it. They can't explain the glaciations, so they just don't deal with it. Their model cannot. You can't put in 5 million years ago and get this extraordinary pattern of glaciers advancing and retreating that starts somewhere around 2.5 million years ago. You can't even get the end of the last glaciation 12,000 years ago, not the end of the ice age. We're still in an ice age. We've still got significant polar ice. They have no idea even why we've had these temperature cycles leading to things like the Minoan warm period and the medieval warm period, as well as the Little Ice Age. They can't explain any of the past. You watch An Inconvenient Truth and you find out Al Gore just doesn't deal with the evidence. And that too is not science. Now, a lot of people will have heard this claim that there's 97% of scientists agree that global warming is happening, that it's dangerous, and that man is causing it. Barack Obama even tweeted that. But it's not true. A number of people have looked into this claim, including the Friends of Science, and they have a neat little publication. It looks at the 4 papers that claim to come up with this figure. And just to give you one example of the horrendously shoddy methodology, the authors sent out surveys to over 10,000 scientists. Over 3,000 responded. From that 3,000, they selected 79, of whom 77 agreed and 2 didn't. And they said, look, 97%. And I hope that when people realize that that figure that is bandied about, used as a club rather than a torch, is to intimidate, not to illuminate, when they realize that that number is wrong, I hope they'll take another look at all kinds of other claims that the alarmists are making and not let themselves be intimidated by the bullying, by the sneering, by the labeling as deniers. Because in my view, the real deniers are the ones who deny the evidence. So yeah, the plan for the documentary is to look at the past history of the Earth. We'll look at, to some extent, at current controversies, but we're going to take a really good look at what we know about the past, because if models can't predict the past, they can't predict the future. We will also take a look at what's wrong with those computer models, because these things are black boxes. The knobs are being twiddled by people who don't even know what's going on inside them. And essentially what they do is they tweak them so that they'll give you the result they want at the expense of being able to explain anything about the past. And again, that's not science. So we're going to compare the claims to the reality. We're funding it on Kickstarter. And we've done this with our previous projects, and we were doing very well. We're almost at 60%. We've got about 2.5 weeks to go. But the thing with Kickstarter is if you don't make it all the way to your target, you don't get any of the money, and the people who pledge aren't charged. So I really hope that the kind of people who enjoy the Rebel and support the Rebel will want to put a few dollars in. If you contribute as little as $1, we'll put your name in the credits unless you request anonymity, to stand up for sanity, for common sense, and for sound evidence on the question of climate change.